Guys, we are live at the expo. We have kind of a brutal setup, but we still don't do intros. Let's go into this super chat right off the bat, man. 1 of 2, 12-team, start 10, Superflex, half PPR, 1.0 for tight ends. The strategy is to use my last flex as a revolving door at RB, but I play Herbert in week 1. Does it make sense to start a second tight end in Everett to take one outcome, not a high-value guy I know, away from Herbert team? RB might be Michael Carter, Kenneth Gainwell, handcuffs, etc. I should have started off with a normal question, but Scott, did you follow that? You're up first, buddy.
Yeah, I took it as should he start Gerald Everett in his second flex, and I would just say that in this format, no, never that would be my plan. I would rather just go with what he's talking about with the revolving door running back. You're probably not going to want to ever plan to start Gerald Everett in a flex in this format, period. Like, if it happens because it's an emergency, then fine. But I'm not probably planning on, like, that's going to be what I'm doing going in. Even in week 1, even if – because here's the problem with going, like, any running back on a 53. The first week, you may not have the best options because part of the strategy relies on attrition for the season. So it's not like you're going to go into it and go, oh, man, I have a smash starter at running back.
Right.
So, yeah, I mean, I guess if it's an emergency and you have no other options, then fine. But I'm not planning on doing it that way. I'd much rather just start. Here's the thing, and I'll add this to the end of the question. Part of the strategy on this type of running back build is you just throw in whoever. You know, you just throw in whatever running back because you don't have anybody else.
All right, Shane, what do you think, man? Where's your head at on this one? Is your head with us today, generally?
I've had several cups of coffee already from Dunkin' Donuts in Canton. Shout out to Dunkin' Donuts, sponsor us. I mean, I'm concerned about anyone that asks me if Gerald Everett should be someone they put in their flex when it's just a half-point PPR bonus for the tight end. Like, I think that's a bigger concern. Like Scott was saying, no, you don't know which running back to play yet because you're waiting for attrition to hit. You're waiting for it to resolve itself. I'm just thinking if he's even questioning whether he should start Gerald Everett, the rest of his roster, or the rest of his options just have to be really lacking. And I'd be on the waiver wire right now and seeing what else is there.
Clay, you're muted.
Let me unmute. I was about to say, if you guys could help by starring some stuff, that'd be great. I normally live in the stars. It doesn't look like we have many questions. We have 98 eyeballs, though. Thank you so much for joining us. Let's keep rolling here. And Fly Bladder, I believe it was. Thank you for that super chat. I never said thanks. Okay, let's go here to Jeffrey Jacobs. What's up, man? Contender, 12-team Superflex PPR, 0.5 tight end premium, so 1.5 for tight end. Start 10. Send Swift, get a mid to late 24 first. Then send Aaron Rodgers, Pollard, and Rashad White. Get Charbonnet, A-Chain, and a mid 24 first. So it sounds like those offset. Retool of RB. Retool at RB, I guess. Yeah. Shane, you go first on this one, buddy.
I'm sorry. So we're sending Swift for mid 24 first.
Send Swift, get that first, but then sending Aaron Rodgers, Pollard, and White. Yeah, look at the second trade, Shane.
Yeah, so then we're getting Charbonnet, A-Chain, mid 24 first. I'm fine with that. I mean, obviously, I'm going to immediately try to swap or sell A-Chain. Maybe even Charbonnet if he continues, his shoulder continues to look okay. If people start buying the hype again. But yeah, I'll make that deal and then again immediately look to flip A-Chain.
Yeah, I'm not doing this. I'm okay sending Swift for the first. I have no interest in sending Aaron Rodgers, Tony Pollard, and Rashad White for Charbonnet, A-Chain,
exactly.
First. Why would I want to retool the running back when I'm giving up probably the 2 running backs that have the best production this year plus a quarterback? Yeah, I'm getting a first, but
yeah.
Second deal, no. The first deal I like, even as a contender, you're just liquidating getting a first. But I'm not trading the second deal. I have no interest in trading for 2 running backs that are just hopium for the future.
I totally agree. I love the first trade. I'm not doing the second one. I'm taking a deep breath before just trading right off the bat. I bet that's Jeffrey Jacobs always has a bunch of Twitter polls and stuff. He is an active player. Pause button on that second one there. Okay, Greg, thank you for the question, man. 12-team Superflex PPR, no tight end premium. Amon-Ra for DJ Moore and a top 6 2024 first. Wide receivers are JSN, Ayuk, Kirk, Deontay, Amon-Ra, Gallup currently. Thanks, you guys are the best. Okay, so Amon-Ra for DJ Moore and a top 6 2024 first. Scott, you go first, bud.
Irrelevant question without the number of starters. So add it, otherwise I don't have an answer.
So what do
Let's assume a start 9.
No. You gotta add this shit when you ask the question. It literally changes the evaluation of the trade. If it's a start 9 or start 11, you have to add that, otherwise we have no context.
So let's just say that though. So
okay,
if it's a start
Greg,
9,
Greg, just put in the chat.
We'll
come back to it.
Yeah, start 9.
We'll come back to it,
11,
Greg. Put in the chat.
It's that simple. Start 10, coin flip. Okay. There you go.
Okay, let's giddy up. Shane, starting with you on this one, man. 12-team Superflex, start 10, 3 of which are flexes. Except Cousins and Garrett Wilson for Kyler or Deshaun. Another team seeking a second elite QB. Not competing this year. Waddle, Godwin, Addison are current wide receivers. Stacked running back core. So, Shane, you go ahead. So, it's giving Kyler, getting Cousins and Garrett Wilson is what it looks like. Well, or Deshaun for Cousins and Wilson. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, the value's fair. It just feels like I'm selling light on Deshaun Watson, especially if I do this. I could actually be okay with this Kyler deal. And then if you're rebuilding, looking to move Cousins in season, obviously, you're not going to get a great piece for him. I mean, at first blush, it feels light until you think about the Garrett Wilson somehow going in the second round startup drafts, which is aggressive, but that's the market. This is probably the best you probably can do for Kyler, you know? So I think I do this. I won't give up Deshaun though, not Deshaun.
Yeah, I agree. I think Deshaun is in a different
I agree.
There's Kyler, and I'm interested in the Kyler deal because I think you could probably justify Kyler for Garrett Wilson straight up. So good trade if you can get it.
Yeah. Okay, we've got an inbox offer here from Zeus. Let's help him out here. It's an FFPC, 12-team start 8, sending Fields/DJ for Josh Allen.
Yeah.
My wide receivers are Olave. That's Diojon? Okay. Give Fields and Diojon. Get Allen. My wide receivers are Olave, Wilson, Christian Watson, Drake London, Kirk, and Diojon. What do you think, Scott? We're starting with you, man. FFPC.
Yeah, it's a start 8, 20-man rosters. There's a defense and a kicker. Like literally, you're just paying for the QB upgrade, and you're sacrificing a wide receiver 2/wide receiver 3, which is his wide receiver 6, and that's already kind of right on the border of how many you would need in a start 8 FFPC league anyway. So I think that I don't know why the team that has Josh Allen would accept this unless they are literally just decrepit of talent. That's it. Otherwise, they're just handing you a positional advantage in the start 8, which is probably just making your team even stronger. So this is easy. Take the Allen side.
It's light by at least a first, right? I mean, I don't know FFPC format, I guess. Well, yeah, am I talking out of my you know what? Or does it seem light like a first?
It's a start 8, 1 QB. So it's almost like the first is just it's a throw in, you know what I mean? It's just whatever you can add to get the upgrade is worth it here.
Yeah, I mean, look, in FF, if your first rounders don't pop in that first year, you're already looking at from the next season, like, can I even keep this guy on my roster? Because it's so tight.
Here we go. It looks like Lou Wayne here is in the startup draft right now. Let's help him out here. 10-team, start 10, 1 QB. Have Hurts, Chase, Eckler, Stevenson, Pollard. Man, you got a lot of fancy points right there. Lamar and Andrews are available teams. Okay. Lamar and Andrews are available. Teams are reaching on wide receiver moves. Guys, help us out with the grammar. We've got a bad setup here at the expo.
And some of us have been
Make your
drinking.
sentences tight. Yeah, make your sentences tight, not a Shane text. All right. Let's start with you, Scott. Go ahead. Or Scott. Or Shane, go ahead.
So he's just asking us who to draft, right? He's saying that basically Lamar fell and Andrews fell. And normally I'd say, yeah, let's snatch up Lamar even in the 1 QB. We already have Hurts. I know Scott likes playing keep away with people. I'm still in, like, I can still build my roster, like adding Andrews to this core. I'd go ahead and do that. But I'll tell you this, I'll grab Andrews here, and if they're silly enough to let Lamar fall to the next round, then I'll punish them and just take them and just stash them on my bench until him and Hurts are retired.
Yeah, I agree. Andrews is the pick. Lamar is the QB horde pick here. In a 1 QB, you are taking somebody. Here's the only thing, if people don't think about it this way, you can take a player off the board that can match your Jalen Hurts, and you probably drafted Jalen Hurts rounds ago. So that's the only thing. If you could somehow get both, I'd be fine with the value on Lamar, but what I need on my team on Lamar right now isn't probably where I'd go. I'd go Andrews first for the positional advantage. But man, I'm not letting Lamar sit out there and someone gets him 5 rounds after I get Jalen Hurts, because that literally they're matching me potentially with my Jalen Hurts. So you're protecting your investment in a way.
Let me ask you this. So with stacking, does it make a difference? So we always talk about stacking in best ball is good to do if you can stack it up. We talk about stacking normally in super flex. If it's a shallow 1 QB league, is it even more advantageous to stack? Do you know what I mean? Are there different formats where beyond just best ball where stacking is more valuable in one format versus another? Does that make sense?
On a lot of our roster reviews with these small starting lineups, start 8, small leagues, 10 teams, you have to find a way to differentiate yourself from other rosters, right? Everyone has a good team for the most part, like at least a decent team. So you are looking for edges that can differentiate you from other rosters. So that's why, again, yeah, we're about stacking, but it's a high-end stacking, like I'm not trying to I'm just thinking of a bad offense. I don't want to stack CJ Stroud and Tank Dell, not in a 1 QB.
Yeah. Well, maybe, oh wait, this is the one that we still, did Greg answer with how many starters in his question that we pulled up there? Maybe not. Okay.
I don't think he did. He said it was DJ Moore, but that doesn't really matter. DJ Moore, Deontay Johnson,
Yeah.
same thing, same.
Yeah. So let's put up Sandiford's question. Good morning, Sandiford. Hope you're well, sir. How motivated are you to get a wide receiver stack? Oh, did we kind of just answer this, guys? Let's go back to a stack question later. Did we answer this basically in our last question? Yeah, just reference this. Sent Palmer and a 4th to get Boyd. It's a 12-team start 11.
Yeah, I'm fine with it. If you have Burrow and you want to do this and it's a 4th to pay the tax, I don't care. Especially if I know like this is my last flex. Start 11, start 12. You can justify paying a little extra to get a stack. You'd rather have Boyd on a weekly basis than Palmer if you have the quarterback to go with them. So that's an easy one. No problem with that.
Famous, always get Gabe Davis on your team when you have Josh Allen, because there might be a week he pops off.
Hey, Fly Meat Wad, put in the chat how many teams are in your league. Okay. Let's see. Theo the Greek, what's up, man? I got this offer in a 12-team start 10, 1 QB with a 0.25 point per carry. So that's a big point per carry there. No tight end premium. So it's get Kyle Pitts, a mid-24 second. Give Pacheco, Damian Pierce. Accept?
Yeah. I mean, to me, this is simple. I'm taking Pitts. Like, I know Pitts hasn't actually shown that he's the next Kelsey yet, but I'm giving up a couple of running backs that we talk about are mid all the time. Like, this is what you want to do with running backs like this that popped last year, right? They're still on your roster, but I wanted you to move them last year, but someone's giving you another out to kind of get what could be an absolutely elite asset, I'm doing this all day. I smash on the pit side, regardless of the fact.
What's
No premium.
Yeah, but it's a 0.25 point per carry. I don't know what the math is here, but Scott, where's your head at on this? You guys play a lot more point per carry than I do.
I think this is one where the scoring advantage favors Pacheco and Pierce in the short term. It is, I am taking the lottery ticket at Kyle Pitts, and this is the price I'm paying. I'm comfortable doing it, but I bet you if they both give you 1 year of like top 30 running back numbers, they're going to outscore Kyle Pitts in this format. It's just You're making a bet long term on Pitts being a positional advantage. And it's just as simple as that. But it's probably expensive in short term points.
Johnny Detroit. Shane, we're going to start with you on this one. Inbox offer startup best ball. Shane loves best ball. No, Scott, you guys can decide between the two of you who wants to go. 12 teams, start 10, Superflex, PPR, 6 point per passing touchdown. Give Tua, get Brock Purdy, Trey McBride, a 24 first and fourth. Have Allen, Tua, Lance, Hawkinson, and 424 first. Dynasty Daddy lists opponent starter rank at number 11. So let's just assume a mid 24 first, guys. What do you think about that trade? Startup best ball.
Sorry, you cut out there for a second, Clay, but I think I'm taking the package pretty easily. It's a best ball. And even if Brock Purdy doesn't start long term, I have a second out with the first, and I'm getting Trey McBride. I get it. It's not a premium that matters, but it's interesting. If you look at the warp tool and you plug the tight end position in here, this format will probably even say you still want to have 4 or 5 tight ends because it's best ball. And McBride actually adds a little bit of value to your roster construction. So I think I'm taking the package. More often than not in best ball, you're going to take packages like this unless it's just a clear win. So I'm fine taking the package because you got the extra out on the first. If Purdy starts, there's probably a window where you can get another QB, which effectively is probably better to have 2 QBs than just 2 in this format. So I'm fine taking the package here. Uh-oh. Clay freeze?
Clay's frozen. Let's just ask a question and do it.
All right. Shane and I are taking over the stream while Clay is frozen.
Renegades.
How bad is my audio? Post in the chat. Let it rip. How bad is it? We're trying to figure it out on the fly. Anybody? Come on. All right. The Dynasty Barry says it's awful. Let me see if I can fix it before Clay gets back. Hold on. All right, we'll pull your mic over.
Yo.
There's Clay.
So it just cut me off completely. I was waiting like 15 seconds for you guys to talk. Okay. And the crowd, if I see like a couple comments saying the echo and stuff is bad, let me know, put in the chat if it's on my end at the expo or if it's at the Oval Office at the shit show house that Shane and Scott are at. Okay. Wait. So let's do this. So Luck is here. Thank you for the question. 12-team Superflex start 10. Give Amon-Ra St. Brown and Jahmyr Gibbs. Get Olave and Tyreek Hill. What a trade here.
Bro. Yeah, no, this is Olave and Tyreek Hill. This hasn't even got anything to do with my love for Olave. I think Scott's probably going to disagree with me here since Gibbs is basically the running back 2 in Dynasty, and maybe you could do more with him. I don't think you could do more with him. I will say this. I'm not a fan of giving up Amon-Ra and Gibbs in the same deal. We've talked about this before. I don't want to be giving up super high-end pieces like this just to swap for other pieces. If I was doing this, I'd much prefer, I don't know, go get a quarterback, an upgraded quarterback. But I will lean Olave and Tyreek Hill, and I think a lot of it's just because I'm in love with Chris Olave.
Sorry, I was just texting you guys. I am literally on my hotspot on my phone. That's how crazy, like the Wi-Fi just crashed for everybody here. Okay, so let's do this one right here. Let's try to do a quick one. John Hill, thank you for the question. It's a super flex. Okay. This is another one. John, put in how many teams are in your league. We just want to make sure we have all the info so we can give you a proper answer. Okay. Here's another Charbonnet trade. Scott, we'll start with you here. Steve Pagora asks, 12 team start 11 super flex. It's a full PPR, 1.5 for tight ends. I just traded Charbonnet and Downs for Bryce Young. Thoughts on who won this trade?
Bro, you traded two nondescript pieces, a backup running back and a third-round wide receiver with probably a inefficient passing quarterback with a low-volume offense. This is the equivalent of trading the 202 and the 210 in the rookie draft for the 103. Come on, bro. Not even close. Good brag, Steve. Nice trade. I don't know why the other team would do this, but it makes no sense.
Hey, just real quick, Steve. So we got a thing, like, if you want to just brag, that's cool. It's cool to just pull out your dick and show out.
$5.
You got to pay me for
$5.
it. I'll do anything for money, but you got to respect me enough to throw money at me if you're just going to brag.
Well, here's someone who threw money at us. Chubb Knuckles, thank you very much for the super chat. 12 teams, start 10, Superflex, PPR, 1.5 for tight ends. Just finished an auction, ended up with Allen, Hurts, Andrews, Diggs, Ramondre, NERB on a 53, and threshold $1 players, and 224 firsts. Next move, should I break these pieces down? Let's ride. I don't know, just right off the bat, it looks really good to me. It seems smart with the any RB on a 53 if you want to go that route, and $1 players, an extra 24 first. What do you think here, Scott?
Well, you ended up with two of the top three quarterbacks, the second best tight end. I guess you could say an anchor running back with Ramondre. Let's just call it a top 12 receiver this year, but obviously just a dynasty asset that you're probably stuck with. Two firsts, so you have two places you can probably go pay and get players. I do think even in a start 10, you probably are a player or two short. I don't think you need a whole starting lineup worth of players that are this caliber, because you do have the positional advantage at quarterback and then obviously Andrews. So yeah, I mean, I think I'm fine waiting a little bit, starting who I can, assuming all of those guys make it into the season healthy. I can probably get away with just kind of throwing in players in my other 5 spots. But I also have those firsts in my back pocket. Don't hold the firsts if your team is ending up somewhere in the middle. Like, you don't want to waste a season of Allen, Hurts, Andrews, Diggs in his age 29 year, Ramondre where he is right now. Like, you don't want to waste this year. So I kind of have the plan of, you know what, I'm going to have to buy something down the road. But part of the reason why you do this is, guess what? You have 2 firsts. You're looking for that person that at some point during the season is like, all right, I'm out of it. And can you give me Derrick Henry and Tyler Lockett for 1 first? You know, that's the type of deal I'm looking for, but you got to strike when it's there. Otherwise, you kind of just hold those first and you waste the build a little bit.
So with that one right there too, I look at it and it's like, how does he have an extra first? That seems like the type of team where he would not even have his first. Like, unless he gave up a bunch of startup picks, I don't know. It's just, that kind of team doesn't normally have an extra first. So let's do this. Let's move to, we got CDub46. Thank you for the super chat. 12 team super flex, half PPR, start 12. I traded JSN, Kincaid, and a mid to late 24 second for Pitts, Elijah Moore, and a mid to late 24 first. Thoughts? Shane, you go first on this one, man.
So I'm just checking the math because, again, I have been drinking this weekend. It's a little early. I'm much further from the computer than I usually am, so I can't see, and I'm not wearing my glasses because I got to look pretty. But so he got Kyle Pitts for basically, I'll say JSN and Kincaid, and then Elijah Moore and a late first for a second. So I'm good with this. Again, we're banking on Pitts being that dude. This could obviously blow up in your face if Kincaid turns into the tight end 6 in his rookie season, like everyone's already drafting him, and JSN turns into the prospect that some people thought he was prior to the draft. But yeah, I'm gonna take the shot on Pitts here. And again, my out I got another first.
Yeah, I'm not doing this trade. I get it. You're getting the first and second spot, but you are trading away essentially what I think could be a top 5 receiver, and you're getting back Elijah.
Uh-oh. I can't hear you. If you can hear me, I'm gone. All right, can the stream hear me? I don't know if you guys can hear me, but let's roll with it. Can somebody give me a heads up in the chat? They just bounced out and are coming back in. Right in the chat, the live chat, if you can hear me. Okay. Oh, I thought I was going to have a moment to myself. I thought I was going to be solo here. All right, I'm going to pull one up and read it. Okay, Brandon Miller. Let's not do a super chat. Okay, so let's go to this one right here. We got Johnny Mack, 12-team Superflex PPR, start 11 on the offense. Okay, 11 IDP. Okay, so Shane, this is your IDP question here. Give Justin Jefferson, Cortland Sutton, Tanny, Cole Kmet, Harold Landry. Get Kyler, Devontae Smith, Dotson, Micah Parsons, 1 starter for 4 starters. Can we answer intelligently on this question? Can we? Hey guys, in the chat, let us know if you can still hear Shane and Scott, because I can't. You see, can't hear Shane. Okay, I'm going to keep talking, guys. Hey, sorry in the crowd. We have 142 eyeballs who are watching, like a little bit of a rough connection, but and Shane is aggressively hungover. No, he's not bad. He's not bad. We're gonna go to this. Yeah, Johnny Mack. I'm gonna have to unstar that. We cannot speak intelligently on that question. Come up with a non-11 ADP. Okay, we're gonna pull this up here. Fly Meatwad, Superflex, start 9, PPR, no tight end premium. Send Ridley, Goddard, a 25 first, a 24 first. Get Garrett Wilson, an early 24 seconds. Okay. So let's assume 10 teams? Are we going to assume 10 teams?
Yes.
Let's assume 10 teams, Superflex, start 9. Okay. Send Ridley, Goddard, a 25 and a 24 first. Get Garrett Wilson, early 24 second. What do you think, guys? Scott, you're first.
All right. So we had to switch to our entire audio and video system died. So we're just on Shane's 18-year-old PC mic and camera. So can everyone hear us?
You sound so much better. No, it's so much better.
We should have just connected the laptop the entire time.
It was wild.
Not even worried about any of this. We're just going to sit back.
Audio is better.
We're just going to
so
sit
much
back
better.
And talk on the laptop. So
All right.
let's fucking go.
Real quick, if this
Let's
is the
go.
first time you've ever seen this show, don't judge us on audio and video. Check us out on Tuesday. We were going to take Tuesday off, and now we are not. We are streaming this Tuesday.
And
Yeah, we should. Yeah.
for the thousands of dollars of equipment that we brought, we literally are on a
Adam's
laptop
equipment.
camera and a laptop mic.
So anyway, the question: start 9. I don't.
Let's
really care
assume
about,
10 team, unless
Right,
Fly
I don't-
Meatwad put in here how many teams. But go ahead.
It's start 9. Like Goddard, I like Goddard fine enough. Ridley, whatever. You're getting an elite asset in Garrett Wilson. I know you're giving up multiple firsts, but and one of them's a 25. And to start 9, I'm making this move. I'm aggressive. This is aggression season, right? We're about to start setting lineups, whether people know it or not. So I'm making the move. I'm being aggressive.
Yeah, so I popped up there. It was a 12 team. Does that change anything for either of you guys, or are we good to move on?
It's still start 9.
Yep. Okay. Sounds good. Fly Meatwad, thank you for the question. Thank you for joining as well. Still have 142. Here, Shane, tweet something out. Let's get some more eyeballs in here, brother.
Disagreeing all morning.
Okay. Let's do this. Brian Clark, thank you for the super chat. 12 team Superflex, full PPR. 1 point. What are you laughing at? What are you fools laughing at?
We're arguing, but we're realizing that it's not muted, so people can hear us like banter.
Yeah, I can totally
I
hear
go,
you. You
Shane,
guys are like,
I wouldn't have taken that trade. What are we doing?
Like we don't
Okay.
agree.
come
This
on,
is the
fly
nicest.
what?
We don't agree a bunch of times. Like, why are just because we're in person, we're gonna have to agree? Fuck that. That's how we make trades. Me and Scott are gonna make trades after this. I'm gonna go overpay him for Garrett Wilson in every league we're together.
Dude, you guys actually look awesome too right now, like without like the long distance shit. Like we're so much better moving forward.
Yeah, all I'm gonna say is shout out to Asus 2016 T1 model.
The Vivo book.
The Vivo book. Shout out.
Yeah, if anybody's watching from Sony, holler at us. We need some equipment. Yeah, right. Okay, let's read this. Brian Clark, thank you very much. 12-team Superflex, full PPR with a 1-point tight end bonus, so 2.0 for tight ends. I have Dak, Carr, Mayfield, Najee, Jacobs, NERB, Keenan, Metcalf, Amari Cooper, Elijah Moore, Sky, Andrews, Pitts, and Njoku, 224 first. What moves would y'all be looking to make to contend?
Brian, thank you for the super chat. The space bar is your friend. I know you had to fit in every possible player, which you did. You gave us probably all the relevant players.
Yep.
You didn't add how many starters. You could have omitted maybe, I don't know, somebody and added the number of starters. I'm going to
check
assume
this out.
10.
Assume it's 10 or 11. When you're playing in a league where it's 2.0 for tight ends, that's not a start 9. So go with start 10 or 11. All right.
Okay, if we go start 10 or start 11, I'm actually fine kind of having the Pitts and Njoku combo. Like, you can justify that, but you could also, if you wanted to sell, you could probably get away with doing that as well. He just stares at me and shakes.
Shade last night was like, I'm scared to death of Scott.
Let's get back to the question.
Yeah, go ahead.
This is obviously a team where you probably have players that are on 1-year windows, right? Like Keenan Allen, Amari Cooper, Josh Jacobs, honestly, Najee. But Shane, do you think this team can contend as it is? So does he need to use those first to buy?
No. That's the first thing that ran through my mind when I was like, oh, I got Dak, Carr, Mayfield. Like, all right, that's a lot of trash cans at quarterback. No disrespect to Dak.
You don't think? I think this can contend. No, I don't like
it's
QB.
a mid.
I don't like QB.
It's a super
you think
mid.
this is a fourth place? You think this is a fourth place finisher?
It's a super mid team where if it doesn't win this year, it ages out immediately.
Yeah.
It is what I'm saying. Immediately. He has
just
no
going
legit.
with it.
He doesn't have a legitimate wide receiver 1. I love Andrews and Pitts, obviously. But no, I'm actually looking like if you can upgrade at quarterback, obviously, then it's a different story. But if we can't upgrade at least one of those quarterbacks, I'm not feeling it. I'm really not.
So where my head's at with that one, though, is like you said, if he doesn't win this year, his roster's aging out. So I would take those 224 first, unless one of them is super early or both of them are early. And I'm trying to upgrade a quarterback to win this year before my team expires. You know what I mean?
That's fine. It's just you leave yourself not a lot of flexibility if you do that. That's my only concern. Clay's talking to other people. It's ridiculous.
Like at least South Harmon just rolled up to the booth. I would try to turn the they're like standing in front of me with a bunch of cash, literally. Like, here, come on this side. Just come over here. Look at this. Here's South Harmon.
So it's super chat. You just throw money at the
Yeah.
Throw a bunch of money at Shane. That is amazing, dude. Dude, it's paradise on my keyboard right now. I don't even need okay. That's hilarious. You guys are awesome. We love those guys. Okay. Jeremy Clark, you put up here adding Elijah Dotson in Dynasty. Who wants to go first on this? Go ahead.
No, I'll just add this. This is any running back on a 53. This is the most important thing about the preseason is finding out where the RB 3, 4, 5 stands on every depth chart. Elijah Dotson is a UDFA for the Chargers. They have 3 incumbents that they've had there for a couple years now between Roundtree, Kelly, and Spiller. Well, he's going to compete for a job, whether they keep 3 running backs or 4. Like this is how you get the edge, is just adding these guys if they're available. And the best part about adding a running back like Elijah Dotson is, guess what? If he doesn't make the team, he doesn't make your dynasty team. It's a free roster spot that you don't have to be suckered into holding. So don't get stuck holding the Xavier Hutchinsons of the world.
Yeah.
Or the Jason Brownlees. Don't pick up receivers that you go, hey, they're going to make the roster. Andre Usovius on the Bengals.
That's a chess player.
Is probably a guy a lot of people are going to add because he's made a lot of highlight plays and probably will, but he's a roster clogger. So running backs, Elijah Dotson, perfect.
So Blind asked, thank you for the super chat. Anyone catching your attention right now in preseason? Whoever wants to start. Well, you guys just recorded a Mannequin Chill that will drop earlier mid this week, where you're talking about how to approach consuming preseason content and stuff. Anyway, go ahead.
Tank Dell. Are you in love with Tank Dell?
No.
No. You know what's catching my eye is people burning up the tweeters, the Twitters, the X's about players that smashed in the preseason. Tank Dell, the next coming. Who was the other dude that just smashed the other night? Ty Chandler. No, I'm just monitoring to see what can I trade for. Like, it's opening it up an opportunity for me to trade these players if I had them on my roster, which is probably why I drafted them in the first place. Shout out to the dude in our Dynasty Trades in 5 league that was saying that Tank Dell is now in the
elite
QJ, JSN, Zay Flowers.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm all about, just using that if I can to my advantage.
So are you selling a 24 third and Tank Dell for a 24 second?
I think we should refer that to the Mannequin Chill episode because we kind of get into real specifics. But let me short answer. Give me that second, bro.
Agreed.
So Brandon Miller, thank you for the super chat, man. 12-team Superflex start 10. Have Watson, Cousins, no other QBs. Dobbins, Rashad White, Foreman, Brian Robinson, blah. Wide receivers have, come on. At least he paid to brag. Look at this nonsense. Wide receivers are Justin Jefferson, Jamar Chase, CeeDee Lamb, Amon-Ra St. Brown, Tyreek. He lists Michael Thomas. That's the tight ends, Dulcich and Fant. Good enough to win. QB's okay. Tight end premium, but his tight end spot is dead right now, though, is the problem, right? Or you like Dulcich enough in a no tight end premium with the warp shit?
No, I hate Dulcich, and there's nothing positive about him thus far in the preseason. So I think it's probably good enough to win. It's just you don't have a lot of flexibility. We have your 4 stud receivers. You're probably just rolling anything you can find at running back, and then Watson and Cousins. And we already know what Cousins is. Like, he's better than what you're ever going to get in trade. So I think you just have to ride with this team. The problem is he's listing Michael Thomas and those tight ends because those are probably his next best players. So there's not a lot of depth. We did a video on Mannequin Chill about how do you tier down guys like Amon-Ra St. Brown and CeeDee Lamb. Like, if that's a way you can create some extra value, you can still roll with Tyreek, Jefferson, and Chase. Can you tier down Amon-Ra and Lamb to Ayuk in a first? I was about to create free value, and you're still going to have the same chances of winning because you have Tyreek, JJ, and Chase. You're fine there.
So would you even do, I remember from the show, you guys had a bunch of pop-ups where you had like 5 players in a row. And would you accept any first or just a 24, 25? Right now, if this is your team, are you trading Amon-Ra for Brandon Ayuk and a 25 first? Or does it have to be a 24 first?
Because all of our leagues and all of our listeners play on Sleeper, and those 25 picks are almost like 24 picks at this point. Like, there's almost no value difference based in the leagues that we're in on Sleeper. Yeah, it doesn't make a difference for me. Like, I wouldn't do 26 because then we're really pushing out. But honestly, the movement I've seen in the Sleeper leagues that we're in, 24 and 25 picks are almost interchangeable when you're making deals.
That's funny because that's so spot on with a couple of our leagues. That's wild. I never even thought about that. It's like they're the same damn thing. Yeah. All right.
I'm guessing, just real quick on Brandon's question, I'm guessing he didn't list any picks because he doesn't have any.
Yeah.
So there's a reason you would take the 25 first, even if you don't love the deal.
Yeah. Exactly.
It's not about, I don't care about the class. With the way his team is built, I need assets to go, you know what? Jefferson gets hurt. Chase gets hurt. Cousins goes down for a couple. Like, I need ways to get out of what I have versus, hey, what if you lose Deshaun Watson for 6 weeks? They're going to go to you and go, you need to trade Chase for.
Yeah, or Justin Jefferson. Yeah.
And Brandon said he has no picks. And that's, look, I just keep beating it this morning, but it's all about flexibility.
Creating value on your roster.
Yeah.
It needs to get something.
If you don't have any flexibility, you're literally just stuck. And if anything goes wrong, which is going to happen, it's football. It's a violent game. Shit happens.
Yeah.
Players don't live up to expectations. If you can't make a move to improve your roster, you're dead in the water.
Yeah, he's his team though is so stacked with tradable assets like JJ, Chase, all of his wide receivers. He could do some process tear downs and crush. You know, like get himself nice and comfy with like 2 firsts very easily. You know?
Right, but and just with specific players, right? Like I'm only going to do it with Amon-Ra. I would think about it with Tyreek Hill. We're not dipping in the JJ. We're not dipping in the Chase.
Okay. I just sent you a message. You have to confirm what you meant, Shane. We talking supers? Okay.
No. Show.
The ending it. Okay. Guys, Shane says Shane's feeling horrible right now. He needs 2 more iced coffees. If anyone from Dunkin' is watching this stream, again, we are looking for sponsors. All right. Shane is asking for a lot of money. I'll ask for a reasonable amount, but reach out to us. ShaneManila@gmail.com. No, I'm kidding. Do not go to Shane. Okay, Benny Bellagio. Thank you for the super chat, man. 12-team Superflex, start 11, 2 tight ends, 1.75 premium. Okay, this is a format right here. In the startup draft now, in round 16, and people still are leaving tight ends on the board. Should I keep taking them over RBs? This is perfect to look at the warp tool, right? I mean, it's a startup draft, 2 tight end, 1.75 premium. Like, isn't this like the application for it right now?
Okay. This is a great question. I want to answer this one, and then Shane can chime in with whatever's on his brain because it's probably entertaining to add. It's a start 2, 1.75. So you would typically say, man, I can just take tight ends until I don't need them anymore, right? But this is one of my biggest mistakes this past year is taking too many tight ends and holding too many tight ends in these formats. Do I probably want 4 in a certain range? Yes. But if we're in round 16 and it's like, wow, tight end 42 is still on the board. Should I take him? You know, tight end 38 is still on the board. Like you probably only want to roster 4. Maybe 5 at the very most, but I don't want to hold a bunch of tight ends here just because it's 2 tight end. You want to make sure you have them in a certain range. You still probably don't want to be flexing them here, even though it's 1.75. Like I don't want to be flexing non-top 15 tight ends, and I'm guessing you don't have a bunch of top 15 tight ends laying around. So don't oversaturate with guys like Elijah Higgins and Cole Turner, and don't draft a ton of those guys and go, oh man, it's a 2 tight end league. Because most likely they're not going to have any trade value until they're too valuable for you to trade. And then you're like, I want too much for them. So just don't oversaturate your roster with those guys.
So this reminds me of the QBX strategy where you hoard all the bad quarterbacks and then don't understand why nobody wants them. And you're like, because they have no value. Like, and I don't mean, and I don't mean like backups, like obviously backups, but they're like, I just
Mac Jones. You have Mac Jones and Kenny Pickett and shit. Yeah.
And they're trying to sell them at a premium. And you're like, no, I'm not going to do that. Like, they're not a premium asset, just even because of the format. So, yeah, like Scott started talking about that. All I can think of is Logan Thomas.
Yeah. They're falling that far for a reason. And you're going to try to trade them like above startup value, and it just ain't going to happen. Colin with the super sticker. Hope y'all are having a good time. Thank you, man. Don't fuck this up. He didn't fuck up his super chat. It's actually well written. Maybe an apostrophe next time, Colin, in between the Y and the A of y'all, though, if I'm correct. Somebody
that is correct,
correct me on that, right?
Yes.
No, thank you very much. So let's go to another one here from Sco. 12-team Superflex PPR start 13. Woo. Listen to me doing the woo. Give T, get JSN, and a 24 second.
Yeah.
The second is a startable.
You have to in a start 13, right? Yeah.
100%.
Yeah.
And I know I was just moving JSN in that last year that Scott made fun of me for, but I was getting like an absolute like premier asset in Garrett Wilson, the guy that's going to be, I'll be bold, whatever, in JJ and Jeff and Chase's tier next year. I love T, but he ain't that.
Yeah, he ain't that guy. I like this question right here. Derek Smith, 12-team Superflex PPR. Let's just assume start 10. Value analysis of Anthony Richardson versus Fields. Well, how would you play it between them if you had one versus the other? How are you, pretend each one is your quarterback individually. How are you playing those quarterbacks?
So I was more skeptical on AR than Scott, obviously, right? AR is already at the value level of Fields. If he does anything this year, he's going to exceed Fields' value.
He will, big time.
Right. So, and I'm not a portfolio player per se, but I went through my leagues. I saw how many Justin Fields I had, and I said, you know what? I want mine turning a couple of those into Anthony Richardson. Like, let me hedge that. Yeah. And honestly, I'd rather have Richardson. Like the upside that's there, it's just too great.
So let's put this up. Or Scott, you want to say something? Go ahead.
No, I was just going to say.
You didn't even talk on it.
I think they are pretty much even, but sometimes you have to ignore the player themselves and just look at the range of outcomes. There are more outcomes where Fields has been soured by the community during this season versus, let's be honest, Richardson is going to be given the benefit of the doubt no matter what he does because he's essentially 2 years behind where Fields was. So the pressure is on Fields. Do I think Fields has a higher upside this year because he's played already 20 games or more? He's ready to have like a dominant season, but if he struggles, there's going to be questions. If Richardson just has an average season, it's going to be, wait till next year. So I think he just has more outs to kind of be more flexible from an asset standpoint. I've already noticed in my leagues, people are off Fields for if he has a bad season, people aren't going to want him anymore. So
his value is going to be trash.
Yes.
His value is going to be trash unless he puts a big old rushing floor up on the board, like a lot of rushing yards. He'll retain value in that regard. But yeah, if he has an average season,
I'm just saying, Fields did throw for like 150 yards on 8 completions yesterday. I mean, yes, 300 of those yards were yak, but whatever.
Well, that was the best. Scott showed me the clips of that. It was like Justin Fields with this, dropping dimes. It was like behind Khalil Herbert, but then Khalil Herbert took 60 or 70 yards. Like
DJ Moore,
and it was
DJ Moore too. Yeah, there was
another one.
Yeah.
Well, the wide receiver screen to DJ Moore was behind the line of scrimmage.
Behind him, it was that one.
The pass was off by like a foot, and it's still, in the stat line, it looks like Fields was flawless. But yeah, anyway.
Yeah, Andy wasn't even throwing across his body because he threw to the left. Anyway, Greg Lassner, thank you for the question. 12-team Superflex PPR. The stage is about to be jamming over here. Superflex PPR, no tight end premium. Amon-Ra for DJ Moore and a top 6 2024 first. Wide receivers are JSN, Ayuk, Christian Kirk, Dio John. He's Dio John moving forward. I'm sorry. Amon-Ra and Gallup currently. Thanks. You guys are the best. What do you think, Scott? Go ahead first.
Well, I think we already answered this one, and it was the one where I said that I need to know how many starters. So I think I'm fine with I'm fine with
10.
The package.
Let's say 10, dude.
If it's a 10 or 11, I'm fine with the package. If not, then I'm probably leaning towards Amon-Ra and a start 9 or start 8. And Shane agrees.
Same for you, Shane.
That's what he said is correct.
You know what's funny? It is helpful to be able to see like half of Shane's body because you can tell by his body language if he's in or out on a question. I can tell whether you're going to add anything of value or lack of value to a question.
Well, yeah. So let's go this way. So
you don't have to talk.
No. If it's a start 13, I like the package. Start 12, I like the package. Start 11, I like the package. Start 10, I think about it. Start 9.
Here's the meter going like
player.
This, right?
Start 7, player. Start 6, quit that fucking league and play in a better league.
No. Start 6. Right. Okay.
We don't have the hammers. Fuck.
My thing got. Never mind. I'm not going to say that. Robert D says, "Hey guys, I have a solid squad that could potentially compete. I need to add a productive running back in a 12-team start 9 PPR league to pair with Bijan. Are there any running backs worth 2 seconds that you'd be targeting right now? Okay, so 2 seconds. Scott, you were trying to get some David Montgomery off of me on the cheap yesterday or the day before. David Montgomery, maybe a pick here. 2 seconds. What do you think? Or Swift?
In a start 9, no. I'm not paying 2 seconds for any running back at this point. I think what I would
start
do.
9, yeah.
Here's a target. How about Jamal Williams?
Yeah.
And here's the key in this format as Shane moves away from the camera. Shane's distracted. You want to buy somebody for a single second that you're forced to start, right? Like I in a start 9, if they're pairing next to Bijan, I just want to have the ability to just start them. So I don't want to get cute. I want to get as much as I can for one of the seconds, even if it's Jamal Williams and he gives me 3 starts and then Kamara comes back and I don't like him as much in a start 9, I still got 3 starts out of it. But I want to hold the other second to use later instead of buy one player. You buy David Montgomery for 2 seconds, gets an MCL sprain in week 2, you're out. B, you have no tradability with the player. And C, you use 2 seconds for essentially the same thing if you had Jamal Williams. So
that's smart.
I want to give both.
I would also say to this question though, he's like, are there any running backs worth 2 seconds that you'd be targeting right now? Maybe just be more flexible with your plans for trades and your general strategy. Don't be like, I'm going to go spend these 2 seconds on such and such. Just be more flexible with your assets. Don't limit yourself to that.
And also, why would you be trading 2 seconds right now for one player? Like you need those seconds for in season for when the things happen. He says
he's got a solid squad that could potentially compete, so he wants to like get that lineup looking good. We know how that is, but
yeah, I mean, fine. Anyway. Go grab one running back and hold on to that second for when someone pops off during the season.
So, do we have these John Hill questions that are starred, guys? The first 2 look like super similar. Are they different though? Both lots of words and I don't know. Like Mac Jones is on both. Pollard is on both. Check that out.
Yeah, I think he added 12 team to the second one, so put that one up.
Got it. Okay. Here's the question. Thank you, John. 12 team Superflex, half PPR, 0.25 tight end premium. Okay, so 0.75 for tight ends. Start 10, 6 point per passing touchdown. Only QB is Mac Jones. He's got Pollard, Stevenson, Rashad White. The wide receivers looking good. CD Lamb, JJ, Chase, Pitts, 424 first. What to pay for Herbert? Okay.
Can I start with 3 firsts?
Well, let's start low. Remember, it's like baseball. You're changing the eye level, right? You're starting down here. Here's 2 firsts. He's going to laugh at you, or she's going to laugh at you.
It's gonna require, like, John, you need to be prepared to put CD Lamb, JJ, or Chase and Pitts in a trade. I'm sorry for cutting you off, Shane.
No. None of those guys are getting added in the trade. I'd rather give up the picks, right, Shane?
Yeah, I got to be honest with you. At the end of the day, I'd give up 4 picks for Herbert. Now, I'm going to try to mix and match. I am definitely going to try to go, here's 2 24s, here's a 25. Here's 2 24s and 2 26s, whatever, some shit like that. Eventually, though, if he wants all 4 of my 24 firsts for Herbert, excuse me, could be a woman, they're going to get it out of me. I'm not adding my wide receivers. I'll add a running back. Like, hey, you want Ramondre? Sure. Here's 2 firsts, Ramondre and Rashad White.
Yeah, no, that was my thing though. It's like if somebody's coming to me, or if somebody's coming to me and wants my Herbert, I don't just want 4 firsts. It's like you're gonna have to include Jefferson or Chase in your trade. That's just how I would be, you know.
Well, okay. Anyway. Real quick on this question then, if that's the case, and I've already sent the 3 firsts for Herbert and they've declined, I'm willing to go to the 4. They declined. And you counter because you're a smart dynasty manager, Clay, and you say, I'm not giving you Herbert on this team to add to what you already have, which is what you're saying. You want to make me break up my roster a little bit.
Oh, for sure. Exactly.
What I do is I'll just tell the Herbert owner, you know what? I'm going to go buy Geno Smith for a first, Kirk Cousins for a first, and I'm going to beat you with Pitts, Jefferson, Chase, Lamb, and I'll just go get kind of crusty quarterbacks. My value will still survive on my roster with those other players. So maybe I just don't pay for Herbert then, unless I can get him at Shane's price.
Sounds
Yeah,
good.
you know
Shane,
what, real quick,
what's up?
Clay, and I know like we're trade degenerates. Like we trade a lot. So people just assume we make every fucking trade, I think, that is offered to us.
Yeah,
we don't.
right.
Like
No.
I turn down significantly more trades than I accept. You do not have to accept every offer. And not every trade negotiation needs to come to conclusion with you finishing on the other dude. Like you don't have to. Like just you can walk away sometimes and regroup and like look for something better out there. It's just like marriage.
Just like marriage. All right, Chris Ortiz, thanks for the question. Scott, we're starting with you on this one. 12-team Superflex, PPR, start 9. What can I do to help my roster go into more of a win now mode? QBs are Fields and Dak. Running backs, Brees Hall, Gibbs, Kareem Hunt. I love how Kareem Hunt's being added to a list of RBs these days. Wide receivers, Chase, Olave, London, JSN, Odell Beckham, Elijah Moore. Tight end is Waller. So what are you doing here? 12-team Superflex, start 9. Scott, go ahead.
I mean, here's the thing. If you're saying win now, but then you list Brees Hall, Jahmyr Gibbs, Jamar Chase, Chris Olave, Darren Waller, like this is a win now team. You're probably just looking at a couple pieces and saying, oh, Drake London, he's not great for this year. JSN may not be great for this year. I mean, obviously there's places to upgrade. I don't know what his picks look like. I think this is one of those teams you're kind of stuck with because you can say, oh, I want to upgrade on Dak and Fields, but do Dak okay, what would it take to go up a tier at each one of those QB slots? And unless he just has picks to throw around, this is a win now team.
Yeah.
Young teams like this are win now. You know, or is it Tyreek Hill? Is it Saquon Barkley? No, it's not teams where you're like, oh man, I can project every player to smash. But there's no reason to think this team can't contend. Is it going to win? I don't know what his picks look like. That would probably determine what moves I would make. But not a win now QB. You have 2 probably top 10 projected QBs on the year. What more do you want win now wise? So I don't think there's really much to do, honestly.
Yeah, when I look at a team like this, and maybe I'm way off, and I've said to you guys in the past, like a stacking show on Mantic and Chill would be very helpful, not only for me, we've gotten comments, but when I look at a squad like this, I want to get CeeDee Lamb on this team, even if it involves me like tearing up from London or JSN or something. I want to stack Dak and CeeDee. You don't even have to address that. I'm just throwing that out.
Let me say this to you, Clay, right? If you would like a specific episode of Mantic and Chill, don't be afraid to super chat us. You know how I feel about money.
Look at this.
That's reused.
South Harmon put like there's like $80 or $100 on my keyboard right now.
I don't know where that money's been.
You're not getting
money
shit.
That money needs to be burned.
That money's been places this weekend, so I'm good.
That money's pregnant.
Oh boy. The money is pregnant. Amazing. Okay, we just got 2 ones here. We're going to here. Jason Black's question. We've got in best ball, do you ever want studs or do you always tear down? Like JSN for 2 guys that might outscore him but are older. Is that always a good move? What do you think? Scott?
Okay, so I'll just say this. I put this question up there for a reason because best ball, you're always looking for the most bang for your buck, and you also want to have as many usable players as possible. However, I've seen people tear down too far, and then they're losing the liquidity on their roster. So let's say you tear down from JSN and you go to Amari Cooper and you get a second piece like a DeAndre Hopkins. On the surface, you're going, man, I'm getting DeAndre Hopkins and Amari Cooper for JSN. It can work, but if you end up with 2 of the wrong players, next year you're looking at a spot where you have no ability to go anywhere. You can't go up because the players aren't desirable enough, but you can't go down because there's nowhere really to go down from a 30, 31-year-old receiver. So I think you want to be able to always have the team that has the most assets, but you want to leave a little liquidity on your roster. So if I had a guy like JSN, it has to be another piece, a 2-for-1, where I go, okay, even if I tear down to a lesser receiver, they can't be 2 28, 29, 30-year-old receivers. Otherwise, at some point, I'm going to hit a wall where I have no ability to move.
Oh, no. How you doing, buddy? Yeah. Okay. I'm not even going to try to add to that. He's like talking to people. We have some fans come up. It's pretty cool, man. It's a little weird to be an introvert and have people come up and tell you you're awesome, but here you go. Jay says, hope you guys are smashing the expo. Great show as always. Hopefully 10K subs by the end. Yeah, I knew we weren't going to get that. That was a stretch, but hey, we love our subs, like our existing 9,900 or whatever. Okay, thank you very much, Greek Theo the Greek. Are you guys going to be in Vegas for those drafts? Scott is. Is it the end of this month in early September? When is it?
Yeah, it's the weekend after Labor Day. I'll be in Vegas, so I believe September 5th to September 12th. So if anyone's out there for any of the FFPC, NFC, FFWC, there's a bunch of them that are out there. So if anyone's out there, I'll be at Planet Hollywood pretty much the entire week, except for maybe a couple trips to other casinos. But yeah, I'll be out there. So Theo, no Theo for a while. Theo, if you're going to be out there, hit me up.
Yeah, and we won't end on this. We'll end on something else. But have you turned off super chats? Yeah, we always turn off super chats like 30, 45 minutes before stopping. So next time, Mix Kebab, come back, send us a super chat. Within the first half of the stream, you can guarantee it gets answered. Okay. All right, guys. I guess that's it, man. We don't have anything started. This was cool. Honestly, switching to your computer, just going old school computer mic and stuff, changed the stream, baby.
So guess what? This is how I'm doing it from now on.
You know what I think of? It's almost tempting, honestly, to just cut that whole first chunk of the stream. Go through and edit it afterwards. Whatever. I'll listen back to it. I don't care. The 185 people in here who hit the like, thanks so much for joining us. Yeah, you guys are awesome. This is our tribe. So do we decide we are doing a stream on Tuesday? That we should, since this was kind of janky?
I'm down.
Of course. That's all we do is work.
As long as Shane is home. You'll be home, right?
I'll be home. I'm leaving after the expo.
Yeah. All right. Rock on. Well, guys, thanks for joining. Do you want to say bye, guys?
No, but if you're at the expo or
come say what's up.
Hit us up. We're heading over there in the next 15 minutes. So Clay, we'll see you in probably less than a half hour. And
sounds good.
Yeah, appreciate everybody that's reached out that saw us this weekend and stuff. So thank you. Even though this was janky for the first half, it was good ending.
We got there.
Appreciate
Shane,
y'all.
you already said, yeah. Appreciate y'all. All right, see you guys soon. Ending the broadcast. Thanks.